Assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Good evening, Nick family. I am hosting the pregame in place of Sim. We play Philadelphia tonight. If you remember, we beat Philadelphia the last time. I think it's still going to be a good game, a tough game. However, I just found out that they are actually without Embiid. So we haven't been playing super well, so I still would not take this team lightly. Basically, what happens when someone is out, the other players step out, they play more intense. So we'll see how it goes. We're 6-4. They'll be without Ben Simmons as well. They'll be without Tobias Harris as well. I'm not sure if Kimba's playing today, but I'm joined by Andy. I'm joined by Ron from Still Knicks Fans. And let's get this started. Hello, fellas.
Yeah, what up, Steph? What up? We're Ron.
Hey, how you doing, Steph?
I'm
Hey,
doing
what's going on,
well.
Andy?
Let me
Hey,
get
hey.
the screen together. I actually want us.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Okay. How's everyone doing today?
Good, good.
Listen, could be better. You know, I sleep better after the Knicks win. So
Yeah. I mean, before we get into the Philly game, anything, Andy, you want to say about the last game? I know you weren't here for the post game.
yeah. Listen, it was a bad night for the Knicks. You know, to see Ricky Rubio go out like that. He caught fire, and that was literally. I saw he was 8 from 8. Then he missed 1 3, but he was after the fourth one for him, it was heat checks every shot that he was taking. So listen, it's the MSG magic, you know, that happens for visiting players. Every time some kind of guy off the bench just comes in and shakes up the Knicks. So we, as a Knicks team, we have to have that scouting report on top and be on top of it, because you never know who can get off the bench of the opposing team and then just have a great life game versus career game versus the Knicks.
Right.
Yeah. Ron, anything you want to say about that game? I know you were you on the post game? You know, my
I
memory
was,
is short.
yeah, I was on the post game. That's just it's not a wake up call, but in essence, it is, just because this is us dealing with playing against a team that in recent times hasn't been that good, and they've definitely turned their team around. And it's just another example of how good the East is, and another team that the Knicks can't take for granted. It's just there's not that many teams out there anymore that you can say, hey, we look at this game like we should win it. I mean, you look at that no matter who you play, but like there's certain teams like Orlando and Detroit. Maybe those are the last two that you could say maybe we have a good chance of winning this, and we can work on some things. But all these other teams, it's rough. It's a new ball game out there, and Cleveland is up and coming. They're kind of an exciting team to watch too. I don't like watching them when they're playing the Knicks, but
Right.
in the future, I may start looking at what they got going on, because they got some nice young
Yeah.
talent.
They do. I've watched them a few days. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching Charlotte as well. Um, However, as far as winning, of course, it's the Knicks. And listen, Sexton is out. Sexton actually tore his meniscus in that game,
Oh wow, man.
so he'll
Mm.
be out for a while. Actually, shout out to the chat. Sherwin, Steph, I told you before the season started, we'd be 20th in defense. We are now 25th. It will get worse. But where are we in terms of field goal defense? The last I checked, and that was a week ago, though. A lot has happened in a week. we were in the top 5. So where are we in field goal defense? And he also
Percentage. Yeah.
said IQ played good defense the last 2 games. I don't see that as the norm. I actually do. I actually do see that as the norm for him. And listen, I'm not saying he's a lockdown defender by any stretch, but at least he's doing enough so that when he comes in the game, we're not like, oh my God, IQ's coming in the game.
Right.
So we will see. Before we get into the injury report, well, let me get into an injury report first. We have to update it, and then we can talk about our thoughts for the game. The Knicks are at full strength, at least physically. Everybody should be there. Danny Green is questionable. Tobias Harris is out. Who is this? Is really tiny. Excuse me. Ben
Isaiah Joe
Simmons
is
is
out.
out. Yeah, Grant
Yeah.
Riller is out. Matisse Thybulle is out. And from what I just heard, Embiid is out as well. I'm not sure who they're going to. I'm not sure who they're going to start. Um,
Right.
at this point,
Yeah, and Steph,
actually,
just to update the Knicks, I
Mhm.
saw that Nerlens Noel is questionable and Mitch Robinson is also questionable. So I don't know how that is going to play out, but
Right,
both of our starting centers, basically are questionable. I wonder how Taj's ankle is holding up because we didn't see him after that game that he tweaked it.
right.
So let's hope one of the guys like Netherlands or Mitch can play and maybe Taj can get some spot minutes. If no, we still got Sims on the bench,
And
or we
and
can
and
just
small
go
ball.
small ball. Yeah.
Right, right. Um, yeah, this is good. And this is, I mean, Noel played 30 minutes last game, I believe it was somewhere around there. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. And maybe he played that many minutes because Mitch couldn't play. It's hard to tell. And good point, Andy. I actually thought Taj didn't play because he was back to being situational now that Noel was back, but it could have been the ankle. Um, wow. So given the injury report, any initial thoughts on this game?
Huh. Well, I mean, I tell you, just looking at it, it gives the Knicks a very good chance to pull this game out and get a victory. I feel like, I mean, I think I said it yesterday. This might be a must win. And now that you know that you might have an advantage over the opposing team because some of their best players are out, I think it really is a must win. So we got to find a way, especially knowing that our next game is going to be Milwaukee. That's going to be a tough. That they're the reigning champs, so it's going to be a tough game again. Yeah, so I think initially we should be okay. And I actually like the. That sounds bad, guys. Don't kill me. I'm not saying I'm happy that Mitch might be out for rest and needs to heal up, and so does Nerlens. But I want to be able to see the small ball lineup out there, and I want to be able to see Grimes out there again because I think because of this, there's a good chance we'll see Grimes again. Maybe even see a little Deuce. I don't know about that, but at least we'll see Grimes. I think because Kemba will be back because he rested yesterday, so we're going to see him tonight.
Right. And just to update everybody, the injury report was done at 10:30 this morning. So it's been updated since then. Embiid is out. He will not play. And we have yet to find out whether are we certain Kimba play?
Well, they said he was only out because of rest, right? Not injury or anything.
Yeah, and then Tibbs said that it's not certain, but I think he just only said it because so it doesn't look like pure rest, so he doesn't get fined or the team doesn't have trouble, resting players. So I think
Okay.
it was probably something like that.
Okay. I mean, my initial thoughts on this game is we need to win no matter what. I don't care if they bring out the Philadelphia Biddy Ball team. We just need to win. We need to win at this point. And it's hard. I mean, you'll go into a game saying we can't underestimate them. But when you get into the game, sometimes it's difficult to do. They're going to play with a lot of energy. They're not going to give the Knicks anything. So the Knicks still need to show up. And if we're without Noel, we're without Mitch, Now we're talking about going small ball. We're talking about playing Sims. As much as we, love our rookies, and I do too, um, I would definitely prefer a bit more experience in the game. But if we have to go with Sims, let's see. It's hard to do matchups now. Let me pull up that slide because it's going to be hard to see. Okay. All right. Kimba and Tyree. We did this, last week? We played them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Evan Fournier, Seth Curry, RJ Barrett, Shake Milton, Julius Randle, Paul Reed. Okay. May just be a difference in the center position. That could be anybody. That could be Mitch if he's playing, Noel if he's playing. Both are questionable. That could be Sims. That could be Tibbs moving Julius to 5 and starting Obi. It can go in so many different directions. And for them, that would be Drummond. That would be
Oof.
Drummond, who's a big body. So
Mm-hmm.
you're rolling the dice if you go small ball, right? That you're gonna get, it's gonna be a net positive, or you could try to match and beat with Sims. How do you think if Mitchell Robinson is out, Noel is out, which way do you think Tibbs is gonna go, and which way would you like him to go? Andy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I would rather see probably Julius play the 5, and that's because I think Drummond isn't gonna have any chances, versus Julius, and also that would bring up someone from the bench like Obi, which we could gang rebound and try to get the boards. Looking at the 76ers lineup, it's going to be only Drummond on the boards. Rest of these guys just get the ball and run out. So especially without Harris, without the rest of the squad. So I really think that probably Julius at the 5 is probably the best idea at this point, because I think maybe you can spare Simmons a couple of minutes, but I think Drummond is too many years in this league to be outplayed by a guy like Sims. Maybe he has the best chances athletically and physically, versus Drummond. But I think Drummond is a vet in this league compared to Sims, and that's going to be a hard matchup. On the rim with these rules now that we see, refs giving the players the leeway to play physically, and since Drummond's a really strong dude around the hoop, so he can have his way with Sims. So
Yeah.
that's a thing that's why I would love to see Randall versus him, because I think he could cause trouble on the offensive end for on the defensive end from the Sixers. So
Yeah, and
Right.
just to add to that before Ron goes, trying to keep Drummond off the offensive boards, right? I mean,
yeah,
he is still. I mean, he may not be somebody you could throw the ball into in the post, but I'm not saying you can't, but I mean, it's not something I'm afraid of. But he can get most of his points just off of offensive rebounds alone, second chance
Mm-hmm.
points, and that would be a big problem for us. Ron?
Yeah, that's that one thing. That's why it's interesting to have a guy like Embiid out there, and then having him being backed up by Drummond. We know Drummond is good at, and that creates a problem for us if our bigs cannot be out there. Drummond could have a field day on the boards, and I think that's something that you could probably pencil in as something that's going to take place. So if you're the Knicks, what do you do? In my mind, I think you go small ball, but more importantly, I think you run up and down the court, make Drummond with his left feet have to get up and down the court, make him get tired, so he can't be as effective as he'd like either. Because
I can't hear you. Was that
yeah, we
me?
lost Ron. No, it's all.
Yeah, while we wait for Ron to come back. I mean, that's why they got Drummond, right? That's
Yeah,
why they got him, because even if it's not COVID protocol, he doesn't play. Embiid usually misses games, and obviously he's not as good as Embiid, but still having that big body out there creates problems. Ron, you're back.
yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. And note to all you content creators out there, if you're ever on a show on StreamYard, If the phone rings, try not to answer it. Don't even touch it. Decline, because it'll take you right out. um, yeah. So So what? Basically, I think they should run.
Okay, he's out again. He must have had another call. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Busy
So
guy.
yes,
Go ahead, Andy.
going back to the situation, like Ron said about running,
Mhm.
versus this team, I think I'm more comfortable running than versus the Cavs. I said before, the game versus the Cavs that I don't want them to run. First couple of possessions we were running, and I was like, okay, this isn't the thing that I envisioned.
Right.
But it was a close game till after the half. So I was wondering what kind of adjustments Tibbs is gonna have in. Was it the good ones as we saw? And I was surprised going back to the just to Grimes when Ron was talking. I was thinking if that was by design that Grimes got minutes versus Rubio, that he was a little bit bigger, maybe better defender than, for example, Quickly
Mhm.
on him. I was thinking about that, but I don't think anyone could guard him
At
on the
that
current
point.
Knicks. At that point, he was doing step backs, fades, side fades, shots. I don't know how you could call
Bacon
those shots.
and
Yeah,
still in the
yeah,
three.
and making him so. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, he was cooking
Yeah.
with gas, propane. He had accelerant. Like he was, it was lit. You guys can hear me now?
We
yeah,
can
but
hear you, but it's staticky.
yeah, like you got a computer voice.
Okay, you guys continue. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All righty. So going back to the but going back to them, and shout out to the chat, Greg, Pudge Nice, Anthony D, Andy. No, I'm kidding. Um, Hewlett, Samuel, aka Wadado. I guess I said that right. Shout out to you guys for being with us, game in and game in and game out. All right, let's go through this in turn. Seemed like we was just here. I don't know if much has changed, but Kemba and Tyrese Maxey, and I'm going to say Kemba / Rose because we're not 100% sure if Kemba is going to start. So just give me, what do you think about this matchup? If it is Kemba, if it is Rose, Ron?
Here's the thing. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So here's the thing. Now I'm starting to get my conspiracy theory hat on. That day of rest in a back-to-back, is this Tibbs' excuse to kind of shuffle things up now that he's done that? Will Rose be out there starting? He tries to start using Kimba with the second unit going forward because this is a good time to do it if that's the case. I don't know. But so I would say that if Kimba does start, I think he has the edge over Maxi because I don't think this young Philadelphia team has a lot of experience out there on the court. I mean, Drummond is probably, the most experienced, but Drummond to me doesn't look like a leader, at least from what I know.
Yeah.
And he's also back, he's a a big, so it's not like he can control what's going on with the guards. So from that aspect, I think Kimba has an edge if he starts. And if not, then Derrick Rose definitely has the edge. And we could probably get out and because sometimes the good thing about having a guy like Derrick Rose on your team is that he has that shock and awe thing. So some of these young guys, they still look up to Derrick Rose, and they're out there, looking at who they're playing instead of doing what they need to be doing. So I think we got that in our favor.
Yeah. Okay. Andy?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ron here. I don't think this is the point guard situation, unless Maxi has a field day, versus us, because we saw him have over 30-point games in his career already. So unless he has one of those games, I think this is a lock for the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm sorry to throw cold water. I'm gonna give the if it's Kemba, I'm gonna give the matchup to Maxi. Those guys have been playing very well with Embiid. Now he's out today, so they're going to try to step it up a little bit. I think Maxey is somebody who can shoot. I mean, basically, I'm giving him the edge over Kemba because I just think defensively, Kemba's not going to be able to stop him. He reminds me a little bit of IQ in terms of his shooting, in terms of getting in the lane with the floater. He's still learning. He's still, making mistakes, but he's been their starter since game one. I think if it's Derrick Rose, I'll pick Derrick Rose
Right.
to outplay him, and also to have some defensive resistance, even if you're not going to stop him, some resistance, right? But I think if it's Kemba, unless Kemba is shooting very well, I think Maxey wins this matchup. Any the chat is going in on Tibbs now. Going back to the play, going all the way back to the playoffs.
Right. I can't. We can't say much, man. The product is not great right now, so we got.
It's not. But I think there's enough blame to go around. And you can even include the front office. Even though I do think it's quite early. All right, let's move to the next matchup. Evan Fournier and Seth Curry. What do we think about that?
Oh. Well, I'll go first because I'm already talking. I'm gonna
leave
give
some
the
meat on the bone, please.
I'm trying. I'm gonna give the edge to Seth Curry on this one. While I think that any given night, Fournier might give you what we think he can give us, and tonight could be the night. Being that we haven't seen it recently, I'm gonna have to go with Seth Curry because Seth Curry's been having some good games, and he just plays the same way every night, so you kind of know what you're getting. Um, so I'm hoping that Fournier does get it together tonight. I already think he is. So I guess you know what? I changed that, guys. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I already said Fournier was gonna have a good game tonight. So yeah, Fournier is gonna get the edge. I'm sorry, I flipped up. I forgot that I gave Fournier. I said Fournier is gonna have a good game tonight. This is his night. So yeah, I'm giving it to Fournier. I changed it. That's it. It's done.
Okay, Andy.
Listen, you guys know that I'm a Fournier fan, and it's not only because he also is from Europe. So, but listen, I'm gonna give the edge to Seth Curry. For one, I hope the first time I turn on Evan, he's gonna have a game. The second thing is, like Ron said, Seth Curry can really have almost Steph-like games. He can make 5, 6 3-pointers in a game. And looking at the hustle play of the Knicks last couple of games, it's hard to defend them on the defensive end. Sometimes they just give up. They just don't show up on the court, and it starts from Randle, and it goes like on a string. Every other guy just behind Randle does the same thing. So, he's the motor, he's the engine of this team, and he has to show up. Listen, I understand that Netherlands in his first game back showed so much energy, but players are not gonna follow Netherlands like they would follow Randle.
Right.
And I think it has to start with the head of the team, and currently at this point it's Randle. So I just really hope there's any other aspect of this team, unless like I said, one of these 76ers players has a career game versus us tonight. I think Seth Curry, and also taking in account that they don't have basically half of the roster, Seth Curry might be the man today on their offense, as the main guy. So, if you're featured and you have, the green light every time he has that light trigger,
Right.
the run-ins is, in his veins. So it might be a hard matchup for Fournier today.
Right.
Yeah, and the few games I saw, I even saw Seth put the ball on the floor and take a few dribbles in and pull up for the mid range. I'm like, oh my. So yeah, I give Seth Curry the edge as well, unless it's a shootout. Unless it's a shootout, and and Seth is not on today because I think he can match Fournier in terms of points per game. And I think he's an okay defender as well, you know. So we will see. Andrew
Yeah,
Jones, Rubio had 37. Yeah, we know. I was
yeah,
there,
yeah.
at least in front of the TV. Um, okay. Wow. All right. So maybe the Knicks matchups is gonna be in the front court.
Right,
Um,
right.
RJ Barrett. Now they have Shake Milton at small forward. Okay, RJ Barrett and Shake Milton. Now, RJ Barrett did not have his best game last game. I think he had like 6 points. Didn't play in the fourth quarter. I thought personally that he earned the right to play in the fourth quarter, even though he didn't play well. Like you're gonna bring Randle in, hoping that he can turn things around. Bring RJ in and see if he can turn things around, right?
Hmm.
So hopefully RJ doesn't come across to me as somebody who gets down on himself. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back today and he'll be ready to play. But as far as this matchup is concerned, and as far as this game is concerned, your thoughts on RJ in this matchup, Ron, and then Andy.
Um, oh, let me first say really quickly,
Mhm.
shout out to the chat. Salute to you guys. I'm on my phone, so you normally when I'm on the computer, I can type in some stuff and salute you guys. Appreciate all of y'all.
Right.
Um, I just want to say one thing real quick. If
Yes.
Seth Curry goes off tonight and has a career night, then you might see me lose it. So I hope that doesn't happen because we have a big problem if everybody who plays us gets a career night. So all right,
Right.
yeah, I think RJ snaps back tonight. I don't see RJ having many of these horrible shooting games because I think one thing I've noticed about RJ too is that his approach is not the same every night. He can go out there last night and shoot up a lot of jump shots that weren't falling. Some of his drives to the paint, his layups weren't good because he was going up against the Twin Towers. He was getting blocked, and even I think he got one of those shots blocked by Dean Wade too, because Dean Wade's 6'10", and so he does create a little bit of a problem trying to shoot over him. But tonight, I think RJ has a better matchup, and I don't think he has to worry about that same athleticism coming from the bigs. So I
Right.
think he should be fine tonight. I think it's going to be a big bounce back game from him. And while I like the game that Shake Milton has, I think RJ has the edge easy tonight.
Yeah. Andy.
Yeah. My question is here is this going to be Shake Milton? Because I think this the Doc Rivers loves to use Shake Milton as that lightning in a bottle guy off the bench. I think it might be Korkmaz here at the small
Mm,
forward position, and I got him in my fantasy team, and I know he's hot. He can get like 25.
yeah.
Last game, I think he even had 25 points.
Mhm.
So, and he shoots the three. He runs on fast breaks. He can drive to the hole. He's of course shouldn't be even a match. Neither of these guys shouldn't be a match of RJ, right? I just hope on RJ after that. Let's call it a bad game he had. No, the next step in his career is to limit those bad games,
Hmm.
not to have them in stretches. He can have a bad game, a worse game every now and then.
Mhm.
But it's like it's like Kobe said with the losses. You got to limit the losses to one to max two, and then
Mhm.
you got to get that W. You don't want to be on streaks, and especially on losing streaks. So it's really important not to, like Steph, you said and mentioned his mental approach. I don't think
Right.
he will be one of those guys that's hard on himself after a bad game. I think he can really just put the push the reset button and come in fresh and have a great game. So
Right.
and I think that's the next step in RJ's career. If he
Right.
has a bad game,
Right.
just like every basketball player, try to drive to the hoop, see that ball go through the hoop, and score different ways. And that shot is going to be coming soon. So
Yeah, no doubt about it. I expect RJ to bounce back and have a good game. And partly because I don't want to be talking about how the clock has strike 12 and how he just had 4 good games. Now he's reverting back to what he was before. So I just need him to have a good game tonight so we can avoid those conversations. And I believe he
Steps.
will.
So we can avoid a controversy, episode 3 on RJ. Go to the bench. Shout out to you, Josh.
Right. And feel better, Josh.
Yeah.
All right. Julius Randle and Paul Reed. Remember this matchup the last time? What are your thoughts on this matchup and just on Julius Randle overall and what he needs to do in this game?
Well, I think he needs to go out there and just play his game and not stress too much about what's taking place. Like he needs to have one of those forgetful memory type things. Like yesterday's game is gone. We played however we played. It didn't work out. Tonight, I'm going to get back to the way I normally play basketball and worry about my matchup with Paul Reed or whoever is out there, and just go. I think this is, if there was ever one of those games, like we talked about it before, how he stepped up to play Milwaukee on national TV. It's another one of them games. Our team just lost. It was a tough game. We kind of got into a situation where we couldn't stop a guy because he was so hot. You know what? But it's a new game, so I would think that Julius is going to try to put the team on his back early, come out early, and try to get points early, get us a lead. So that we're playing fast and free and not from behind. Because I think that's another thing as a go-to guy and a number one on a team. Your role is not just to be that guy for us and make sure you're trying to dominate, but it's really getting your team out to a fast lead so they can start playing comfortably. Because when you start playing from behind, your game changes too, and the philosophy
Right.
changes. So yeah, we got to get out in front, and I think Julius is going to try to get out early.
Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, well, we saw in the beginning of the season that if we play team ball, we can get, like Ron said, into those comfortable leads. The other side of the story is that we lost those leads, but I still rather have the lead than be chasing the whole game. And listen, great players, and I'm not saying that Julius Randle is at that level yet, but I think he should try at the beginning to get his teammates involved. And if it really doesn't go well for the Knicks, then he should try to put the team on his shoulders and score a little bit more and stuff like that. I'm not asking him to play ISO ball, unless it's really necessary because anybody's making shots. So
Right.
listen, I think he as the star and the head of this team, as the leader, first thing, hustle plays and put that energy and effort out on the court. And the other thing is try to score if it's necessary. You don't need to show your teammates that you are hot or you can score the ball. Everybody knows that. Try to get the team involved first, and if it's not going for them, then go after yours.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree. But I think that's what he's been doing. Actually, the past few games, passing. I actually would like to see him. I don't know, like you said, some ISO, a little bit, especially if things aren't going well. And ISO to me doesn't necessarily mean that you stand there and you pound the ball for 22 of the 24 seconds, but that give it to me. I'm about to go get this bucket because we've been struggling. So I do think we need some of that. We'll see. I think it's about finding that balance between obviously getting everybody involved, but every now and then, especially if you have a favorable matchup, trying to take advantage of it. I also think Randall needs to, the challenge for him, not that he's listening, is that he has to become a two-way player. I think we need that more this year than anything else. I think last year we had Elf and Bullock, they were able to help keep the guards out of the key. Not that it was 100%, but that's not the case. Our perimeter defense is porous. They're getting in there, and we need Randle to be better on his rotations, on his help. He's not. He's okay on the ball, but off the ball, he's just atrocious. And I don't know if that's him if that's him being tired. And if that's the case, he can stop bringing the ball up. Like, we don't need that right now. Save your energy on that end in terms of bringing the ball up the court. Save that energy for defense. And by that, I mean help defense.
Right.
Because we really need that. I mean, it's when you watch that and when you watch some of these games, it's just atrocious how he's one rotation away. And this happened last year as well. And the guy just goes right. I mean, it's not his guy, but still, he just goes right by him, lays it up. He doesn't even fake, to make the guy think
Yeah.
that he's gonna come over. So maybe the guy will pass it to his guy. He could get the pass. Nothing, and then sometimes he'll look around like, what's going on? What's going on is you were supposed to rotate over. That's what's going on.
He's looking for someone to blame. And I was like,
Right.
you don't do that. You don't do it. It's like the worst thing a leader can do, looking for someone to blame.
Right.
Yeah.
So I need him to play more two-man. But honestly, when the offense bogs down, I need Randle to take more shots. Good shots, but more shots.
Right. But there's, I was going to say, Queen, there's nothing wrong with you bringing down, the ball and trying to start your offense, move the ball around, see if you get a nice open shot of something quick. If it doesn't happen, then you go to Julius. Don't go to Julius early, because sometimes that's when you get into trouble, because if the defense is just saying, oh, they're just going to Randle, then they start keying in on Randle. He takes bad shots or he forces it, and then we get down several points, and then we have to try to come back. The other thing I was going to tell you about his defense, the other thing I noticed with Julius, and I keep saying this, it's not him, but I would love it for him to learn a little finesse. He doesn't have finesse in a lot of his game, and even when he's playing defense, you notice it's all out effort with Julius. It's either no effort, or if he's trying to close out, like he's like running through the guy, and then he winds up past the guy, and then it turns into some other thing on the offensive end for the other team. Like it's so full max effort that if he kind of just slow himself down and just shade and jump out, just put his hands up, he doesn't have to run straight into the guy's face all the time. Maybe just put your hands up would kind of deter some things. And last thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and this is not just because of you, Andrew Jones, in the chat. This is for anybody, because I know this is coming up now because we're playing bad. He asked the question, is Evan Fournier that good? I'm not going to say if Evan Fournier is that good at this day and age in his game. But what I will tell you is, if you looked at the Knicks for the past few years and you really looked at them, Evan Fournier is one of those, what you call a Knick killer. He has lit our team up many a times. So can he do it? Yes. And we've seen it. We've witnessed it. We've been on the other end of it. So all I'm saying is, if he's comfortable and he's right out there, we can expect something good from Evan Fournier still. He's not washed up yet, guys. It's not looking good yet, but he's not washed up. He can still do things. We already saw some of it this year early, so it's still there. So it's just let's be patient with them. Okay, I'm sorry, Seth.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll get back to Fournier, but in terms of Randle, Sherman M appreciate you and said Randle is one of the best defenders in the NBA. Stop the hate. Listen, when Randle is locked in, he is a very good on-ball defender. When he's locked in, he can defend, right? Off the ball, it's just not there. I mean, he just doesn't play the passing lanes well. He doesn't rotate well. I think some of it is just he's expending a lot of bam bam energy. I like to say, as you're saying, Ron, he's just going all out, like not knowing when to rest, when to, pick your spots. That's not him, but he has to get better. He has to get better off the ball. If that means he has to get in shape more, if that means he has to, save some energy somewhere else, We need him to be a better off-ball defender given our perimeter defense. And as far as Fournier is concerned, listen, Fournier's just been missing shots. He's been missing shots, and in my opinion, he's not being as aggressive as he can be. Um, for whatever reason. I don't know if he doesn't want to step on people's toes, whatever it is, but I need him to get into the action and just deal with whatever fallout there might be. I need him to be aggressive with the ball. He can play, he can shoot the three, he can drive, he can play make. We need it. We need it. And his defense hasn't been that great. But if he's doing that on the offensive end, that's going to override what's going on defensively, right? And he's still averaging 16 points a game or
Yeah,
something of
15, something like that.
15, but he can be so much better, and it's hitting the shots, and that'll come, just like with Quickly, it's gonna come. But he has to be aggressive. He's just not being aggressive. Andy, you know him well. Would you agree that he's not being as aggressive as he can be?
Yeah, that's true. If he feels that he has to step up and he's the leader, or at least the leader on with the roster that he's on the court with, that
Mhm.
we can see a totally different Evan Fournier. But uh, what I would love to point out that he still is playing intelligent basketball. You rarely see him take a bad shot.
Mhm.
No, even like Steph said, is the shots are not falling, but he's taking
Right.
open shots.
Mhm.
It's not like he has to chuck, the shot up with like a two defenders in his face or something like that.
Right.
So that's really important for me. I'm not mad seeing that Fournier is taking a shot. There are some players on the Knicks squad, when I see that they're even thinking about shooting it, I'm already, getting high blood pressure, So, and I'm like, oh, he better not try it. He better not try it even. But because I know that he's, trying to get contact and then take a shot. No, you firstly, you try to score, then you think about getting contact. And some
Right.
players just turn their priorities around. So
Right.
that's a bad thing. Fournier firstly thinks about about making the bucket, the
Right.
the contact, the foul call. It's after him releasing the ball and stuff like that. And we saw a glimpse, at least versus the Cavs. He had that great turnaround jumper on the
Right.
baseline. He had like 2 or 3 drives to the hoop. So I think he really needs more chemistry and runs with this team to show his better side, let's call it that way. Currently he's just a shooter now. He can score off the dribble as well. But I think he still doesn't feel 100% comfortable with this roster.
Yeah, well, he got to get with it, Andy. I mean, they're
I
passing
know
him the
I know
ball.
this is New York.
Yeah,
There's no time.
they're passing him the ball. He
Yeah.
passed it to Randall. Randall passed it right back to him. He passed, this is not ping pong. We need you to, be a bit more aggressive. And he does take good shots, but I just think it's just untapped resource right there. I think we can get more out of him. And I don't think it's because everybody is hogging the ball. These past few games, the ball has been passed around. It's like, but what are you doing with it when you get it? So some of it is open shots, but I think there's opportunity for him when he gets it and he wants to pass. Sometimes that's an opportunity for him to take the shot and drive and create something for someone else. Let's see how long it takes. Let's get to the last matchup, and then we'll just talk a little bit about, does our offense even matter? Is this just really about our defense? Okay, so Mitchell Robinson is questionable for those who started listening late. Noel is questionable as well. Taj had the foot injury a few games ago, so I'm not sure if he didn't return because Noel was back and he went back to being situational, or if his foot was still bothering him. We will see tonight. Embiid is also out, COVID protocol, so I would think that Drummond is going to start for him. So we're either going to start Sims, we're going to start Taj, if Taj is available, that's the first choice, I would think. If Taj is not available, is he going to start Sims or is he going to go with the small ball? I think we talked about this a little bit, in the beginning, but just briefly the center matchup. Quick thoughts.
I'm thinking. I think this is a little tough without knowing exactly who's going to be out there. But I think the Knicks is just gonna. It's gonna be Jericho Sims for us if our guys can't go. And I think yeah, I think it's going to be Jericho, or it might be Taj. It could be Taj, and we go small from the beginning, but a different type of small ball. So yeah, it could be Taj. Actually, that makes more sense to me. It might be Taj, and we start doing small ball in that way, and it's going to
Yeah.
be like a physical game between Taj and whoever's there, and Julius is going to try to be physical too. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's
Right.
necessarily what I want to happen. I don't mind it because I think the Knicks do need to get a little bit more physical on defense. I think we got to start commanding the paint, and start doing something on that end. If we're getting beat by guard play and constantly people are getting into the lane, then we got to make them feel it when they get in the lane. I mean, it's old school '90s Knick basketball, but if you can
Right.
do it sensibly without getting yourself into foul trouble and getting a bunch of technicals and flagrants, then it works. There's a way to foul a guy without being making it a flagrant. So I think we just need to start laying bodies on guys and make them know that you come into the paint. It's not going to be easy. And use our
Right.
resources. Use the bench. Use Obi. Use Sims. Use whatever bigs we got down there to kind of give some physical presence. So
Right. Shout out to CT. The streets are buzzing. Bruce Davis, Carrie Cox, Andrew Jones. Appreciate all of you. I mean, I think overall, um, I, yeah, to me, it's what are we going to do defensively? And you can look at a player like a Maxi, and you can look at a player like a Seth Curry, and you could say, "Oh, those guys are not um, great offensive player, even though Seth Curry will shoot." But they're NBA players, and you'll be surprised what happens when there's no resistance on the defensive end. What players are able to do. So our perimeter defense has been a problem. And if it doesn't get better today, I can easily see Maxi and Seth Curry having a really good game. Now, will that be enough to beat us if we're playing well offensively and if we're defending the other three positions remains to be seen. But even when Embiid out, given how we've been playing as of late, I don't think it's a gimme. Any thoughts on that before I get to keys of the game?
Andy.
No, I think I totally agree, Steph. Here, I don't have even ever anything to add here.
Right, right. Yeah, we have to show up. All right. Keys to the game. Number one, I didn't even change this from the last time. Do not take this team for granted. And this was even before I found out Embiid wasn't playing. Do not take this team for granted. We need good perimeter defense. And that may mean that if our starters are not doing it, not playing good perimeter defense, that may mean bringing in Grimes,
Or
Hmm.
that
McBride
or McBride, right? It
versus
may
versus.
mean that, um, because we've talked about this before. I don't think it's an effort issue. I think it's a personnel issue. That's just my personal opinion. Um, but we need good perimeter defense. They're without Embiid. We cannot allow Maxi and Seth Curry to have like 30 points. We just can't. Randall has to show on both ends of the court, right? Our perimeter defense is not great. The guards are getting into the lane. Our front court has to be there to help. It can't just be Mitch, who may not even be there, Noel, who might not even be there, right? This can be a defensive fiasco, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and lastly, timely shots and timely stops. I remember the Lakers one of their championship teams, they were not great defensively, but when they needed a stop, they were able to get it. They were able to get those timely stops. They had a good offense. The offense was clicking with Kobe and Shaq, but if they needed a stop, they were able to kind of, focus and get it. We need timely stops and we need timely shots, hope and that could be, even if we're up, a timely shot could be they're trying to cut into our lead. And so we hit the shot to go back up. So we need those timely shots in this game as well. Any thoughts on these keys and anything you want to add?
Well, if I'm just going to do and say exactly what I said yesterday. Um, those keys make a lot of sense, and I think that's what we need to do. And I'm going to add the two keys I added yesterday. One is we got to continue to push the pace. I think we need to run up and down the court against the 76ers team and make if Drummond's out there starting, we got to make him work. And also that helps us as a team. When we push the pace, we get better shots, we get better opportunities. Obi gets involved, and as we can see, listen, you want to say what you want to say about Obi. Last night again, 11 points, 11 minutes. Obi's still being productive in his time out there. So keep doing that and keep passing the ball, finding the open man. Passing the ball is going to lead to good shot opportunities. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, I could add rebounding because I just hope
Yes,
Drummond
yes, yes.
alone is not going
forgot.
to out
I
rebound
forgot
the
that
whole
one.
Knicks roster. Listen, this would be a tragic thing, but
Right.
we saw Drummond, do that to not only the Knicks but several other teams, right, in the league. So I just hope, and actually I think if we would play Taj versus him, I think he might be the most capable guy, if Mitch isn't, available,
Right.
because he knows how to position, how to box out on defense, on offense. And, I think that might be, the best, situation for Tibbs to use Taj versus Drummond.
I agree.
And that's one thing. And I really think that we need to pick up that 3-point shooting percentage. We were taking huge amounts of shots. We were, after I think 5 games, we were leading the NBA in shots taken. And the last couple of games, we were shooting really bad percentages. So I really think I rather shoot a little bit less, but have that shooting percentage on a consistent level, at least on a consistent. If it's going to be 35, 36, I'm going to be cool with it. Then I just adjust my game plan so we don't take 50 shots, just take like 40 and have the other 10 shots come from somewhere else, right? But I really don't feel. Also, I don't know if you guys realized, first games we were shooting threes straight out of the gate. The first quarter basically was like 10 threes and like 2 other shots. The last game we were really thinking from the start of the game to get that easy bucket, to get that best position to score and stuff like that. I think Thibs still is looking for the balance for this roster, but I really feel that actually versus this Philadelphia depleted team, rebounding and that 3-point shooting percentage is going to be the keys to the game.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for bringing that up because rebounding is one of my big things. I can't believe I forgot it.
Right.
The other thing is, like Sim mentioned yesterday when we were talking about it, which we have to kind of keep that in the back of our minds. I'm sure Tibbs is thinking about it. If Philadelphia decides to play us in a zone, because now all these teams are doing it to us, got to be able to move, be active out there, pass the ball quickly in order to kind of break the zone. Because if we get that again tonight, which could be smart when you don't have to worry about your best guys like Embiid and Tobias Harris out there, young squad. That's the type of thing that you would expect a young squad to do when you don't know exactly what the game plan will be without your stars. So yeah, it's a possibility. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they want to keep the pace. They play at a slow pace anyway, and part of it is with Embiid. Will that continue without him? Probably so if they're going to start Drummond. I think they're last in pace. and our pace has dropped as well.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning of the season, we're back to where we were last season as well, 27, 26, somewhere around there. But with that second team, if we can push the ball and get some easy baskets, I think that will help us. And Obi, you're absolutely right. Obi played very well, but I've said this from the beginning. If we're not going to go small ball and he's playing behind Randall, and that's the only minutes he's going to get, we're only talking 10 to 12 minutes a game. I mean, that's, unless Randall gets into foul trouble. So I think that, we have to commit to the small ball unless it's just so obvious that we're going to be outplayed. But other teams do it. Golden State, I mean, they have great shooters, though. So I guess they feel like no matter what, they're going to be able to outscore. They have Otto Porter playing center.
Right.
Yeah, but Steph, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Golden State has actually the best defense currently in the NBA
Mm.
Right.
when you
Mm.
take in
I'm not
account
sure.
field goal percentages. I
Right. But
think
our
that they
field goal
might be
percentage
leading.
defense is good, too. You couldn't
Yeah.
tell by looking at
Yeah.
them. You couldn't tell by looking at them.
Yeah, Rubio could skew that, number after that last
Yeah.
game.
Right. You're right. We might be
Yeah.
in the bottom 12 or something like that. Shout out to Rafael Elias Diaz. Appreciate you. Predictions, last words.
Go ahead, Andy.
Listen, if there was a
Uh,
game this
Chat,
week
the
that we were
Embiid
supposed
is
to win,
out, and we are
yeah,
huffing and puffing on predictions.
yeah, I was gonna say. Listen, if there was one game that we were supposed to win this week, it should be this game after the roster and the injury report the 76ers have.
Right.
I don't think, if the Knicks want to be a good team, not even a great team, a good team, they got to get this W.
Right.
There's no,
Mhm.
no, I don't think Tibbs is going to let them sleep if they lose this game.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they got to practice right after.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, we need this game. We need every game, but we need this game right now. It once again break that losing taste, break the momentum of that. Uh, you know, and put us back in feeling good about our team because the other thing we as fans, fans are not forgiving. We always going up and down with our team. We're hot and cold with our emotions. But as players, you know what? You want to win too. And you know that the East is getting tough. You want to be right there with these guys. You don't want to be falling
Right.
behind. Especially the Knicks coming to this league this year thinking they're a better team, thinking we're gonna be a playoff team and make it a little further than last year, if not,
Okay. This this is this is a very busy guy because he's saying that the phone calls is what's knocking him off, right? I don't know if I get that many calls in a week, but anyway. um,
I'm happy the show is like, almost midnight for me. Nobody's going to call me this time.
right. Knicks win. Knicks win is going to be over 10 points. I think, after the loss we had, I said that the last two games, that after the last loss we had, we're going to come out with a vengeance. But I believe it. I believe it this time. The Knicks will win. Ron is back. It'll be
tough.
over 10 points. I think RJ has a great game. I think Randall also has a good game. And I think quickly, we didn't get a chance to talk about him today. I thought he played very well last game. He was only 3 for 8, but I think he played the point spot well enough. I thought he passed the ball well enough. He had 5 assists. I thought his defense was okay. I think I'm not worried about his shot. I think his shot will fall. I didn't think he was taking crazy shots out of the 8 shots that he took. So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that if his defense continues and if his shot starts falling, that he will be big for us. So let's see.
Uh,
Ron,
can
you
you
were
guys hear
saying?
me? You hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Once again, guys, I don't think I'm ever doing this again from my phone. This is the
I think
worst.
you just cut off the notifications, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I didn't have time. I didn't even think about that was going to happen, but now I know. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying, they just, they need to go out there and win this game. It's important, getting back to that winning culture and keeping pace with the rest of the teams in the East because it's tough out there. Shout out, salute to the chat once again. Definitely appreciate all of y'all for tuning in, us holding it down while the Podfather is coming back from vacation. So you know what, they'll be back to regularly scheduled programming, all that stuff you used to very soon. And being that this is part of my last words, I also want to say, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in to Still Knick fans coming on tomorrow night, right after the Queen's Court. Everything's been moved because of the game tonight. So Tuesday night, I think you'll see the Queen's Court at 8:30. Still Knick fans will be on after that, somewhere around 10-ish. And then don't forget, tune in to the new show that's happening on the NBK network this Thursday, 8 p.m. It's called the NBA Report. We're going to be breaking down Eastern Conference and how it relates to the Knicks. We'll be talking about the Knicks as well. We got a couple other little wrinkles. Hopefully you guys like the show. And salute to everybody. Thanks again.
Yeah, I just want to say, on the show tomorrow, I'll have Guard Up Knicks. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, check them out. They got great chemistry. They'll be on tomorrow. And me and the Fox, Stephen Fox, will be doing a show Saturday at 8 p.m. breaking down the first 10, 11 games of the Knicks season. And shout out to you, Josh. Feel better. Josh couldn't make it. Appreciate you. Anyway, we held it down. I am Jarrell. Appreciate you. Felix, Zarilla, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you. And watch out for, I believe there's going to be a post game. So watch out for that as well. And hopefully we're back celebrating a win. If the Knicks lose, the post game is going to be another funeral. I know. Before we log off, there was one guy in the chat a few games ago. He just came on. He commented. He said, "Oh, the funeral crew," and left. He said that we too negative. Even when the Knicks win, he called us the funeral crew.
No, man. If the Knicks win tonight, I'm be happy. I got these roses behind me just in case. But either way,
Either way, we'll be here supporting the Knicks. We got spoiled from last year. We got spoiled by that 5-1 start. It's going to be a grind all season. I think the Knicks will be fine. All right. And with that, we are out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.